Babe, you got 3 different kinds to choose from.
What are we looking at here?
You got chocolate, you got white chocolate, you got oatmeal.
Looks like you went to town on these oatmeal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm reading on the mic again. I'm eating on the mic again.
It is time to play everyone's favorite game, Questions About Donuts.
All right. Hit me with some questions about donuts.
I'm going to ask you 5 questions. If you break even, I have to buy you a dozen of any donut that you so choose, from wherever you so choose. If I win, you're going to get me a Boston cream donut from Dunkin'. Or Giant, wherever is convenient. Voodoo Donut, a very famous shop in Portland, Oregon, used to make a, quote, medicinal donut, which was coated in what?
THC?
NyQuil, or you could also get with Pepto-Bismol.
Hold on. One of those makes sense.
In these United States, what is the most popular flavor of donut?
Glazed.
Glazed is correct. Yes, about 22% of all donuts are glazed.
I love a glazed donut.
Well, that's the macro. Let's zoom into the micro. In this great state of ours, Pennsylvania, what is the most popular flavor of donut?
Jelly.
Powdered.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we love those Tasty Cake powdered donuts. Those are fine. Hard to go wrong with any kind of donut. I don't know that there's a kind of donut that I dislike.
None?
I can't think of one.
Dry.
Like plain?
Once a donut goes dry, throw it away.
Well, that's not a genre. Would you say your least favorite kind of fruit is rotten? Because
That is different.
Is it different?
Rotten will kill you. Dry won't.
I don't know if it'll kill you. I have to get the next 2 questions correct.
You got to win out. Donuts were brought to these United States, and probably the world, by which European nation?
German?
It's the Dutch.
The Dutch. I knew it had to be one of those. I knew it was like, so I lose.
You lose, but you might as well just get the last one. Which writer, who also penned The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, was the first to describe donuts in print?
I don't know who wrote Sleepy Hollow.
I have a feeling once I say it, it'll be like, oh, yeah.
Nathaniel Hawthorne.
That's it.
Madison Cawthorn. Doesn't he sound like he's like a 19th century author?
My friends, I encourage you, continue to make your voice heard, because do we love Donald Trump? But my friends, we're not doing this just for Donald Trump. We are doing this for the Constitution. Our Constitution was violated. You know, if I knew that a city clerk in a city called with my name named Madison can overturn a state legislator and alter the course of an election, well, hell, I might have ran for a different office.
Washington Irving.
Oh, Berlin.
This is Deep Dive Divas. Every 3rd episode, Joe and I listen to an artist with but one studio album in their discography and share our findings with you. We're doing Odd Future, buddy.
Yeah.
How did you first hear of Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All?
I don't remember how I first heard of them, but I do remember I was sitting in I guess it was called the Tech Center at Upper Darby High School. I was hanging out there with some fellow musician kids, and we were all playing guitars and hanging out. And I remember a friend and I were discussing NERD, Nerd, Pharrell's band.
You think that you don't have to ever quit. You think that you can get away with it. You think the light won't be ever lit. It's almost over now, almost over now. Something on your chest, better get it off. There'll be no one left when we...
Mr. I Got a Hat himself.
Sure, this is before the hat.
Oh, before you ever wore a hat.
Yeah. I guess he was already bald. I feel like he's always been bald.
I don't think he's bald.
Well, like, shaved.
I think he just has short hair.
He keeps it real. He keeps it, Keeps it short.
Bald to me seems to denote a condition of one's follicles. If I were to just shave your head, I wouldn't say you're a bald person.
I think that you're wrong. We're hanging out, and somebody was like, we were talking about Nerd, and somebody was like, oh, you like Nerd? Do you like Odd Future? And I had heard enough Odd Future to say no, and I think I've made it clear on this show that in high school I was like an insufferable little music dork. And so I'm sure I said no in like a, ooh, no, I'm too good for that kind of a way. And then everybody was descending upon me. And what I learned was that every kind of music kid liked Odd Future at that point. Because of that incident, I still think to this day that Odd Future was the coolest band at the time. The metal kids liked Odd Future. The punk kids liked Odd Future. The rap kids liked Odd Future. But I didn't really. And so anyway, my friend was like, you would like Earl Sweatshirt. And I remember from that conversation, I actually did like Earl Sweatshirt. He was right.
Bet that head crack blunt force. Cozy with the East Africans up north where 7 make it 3 turn to 10 by law. Crescent moon wink when I blinked, it was gone. Left the crib, smack no sheath on the sword. Made it by the skin on my teeth.
My exposure to Odd Future was also in high school, but I was the teacher, and there were just all these kids with donuts on their backpacks, like Simpsons-style donuts, OF.
Of.
What, these kids like articles and confections? What's going on here?
They got to unpack their adjectives.
I know. And I ask one, what's all the hubbub, bub? And he says, it's a band, Odd Future. And I go, okay.
You didn't remember Odd Future?
No, by this time I'd known Tyler, the Creator, completely independent of Odd Future.
Huh.
Yeah.
You missed Odd Future as an entity.
I missed them totally.
So my insistence that they were the coolest band is...
I mean, I didn't know them. That doesn't make them not cool.
They were pretty cool. You're older than me.
So Odd Future is a rap collective who have since launched endeavors into everything from television to apparel, the latter of which is kind of their thing now. Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All was founded in 2007. Joe's got the shirt on with a cute rainbow cat.
Yeah. You can't buy this shirt anymore. I bet it's worth money.
Well, how much did you pay for it?
It was a gift.
Oh, so it's worth more than what you got it for.
Shout out to Laura, my sister. Thank you.
Odd Future is founded in the great city of Los Angeles in 2007. I would say the ringleader is Tyler, the Creator, but there are a whole lot of other members. Let's list them all.
You got Casey Veggies.
You got Haji
Beats.
Left Brain. Matt Martians. Jasper Dolphin.
Jasper, yep.
Travis Taco Bennett.
I saw Taco.
You sure did.
I saw Earl Sweatshirt. Mm-hmm. At the
also
TLA.
an Odd Future.
Also an Odd Future. Taco was his DJ, question mark? I don't know that he was actually doing anything. I guess he was. Why wouldn't he be? Somebody's got to press play on these MP3s.
And Sid. That's like the first iteration of the
Gotcha.
band. Later on, you will get everyone from the aforementioned Earl Sweatshirt to Brandon Deshay, Pyramid Vritra, V-R-I-T-R-A.
Verta?
It doesn't even seem like they did a ton
Vrita?
with them. Domogenesis, Mike G, Frank Ocean, and Knock Smith. So there's a lot of people in it kind of participating in varying degrees. Tyler, the Creator, seems to me to be like the spoke, the hub of the spoke.
Yeah.
He's the center of the wheel.
He was the first one to get famous, so it's easy to put that on him, but I also do get the impression that he was the heart of the group.
And I think it's also his personality that comes to the fore that everyone kind of falls in line behind. Tyler, the Creator, is funny and clever. And I think that that's what everyone in Odd Future is trying to be.
I think that he's not only just funny and clever, but also irreverent. And I feel like everyone is trying to be irreverent. Maybe they're not even all trying to be clever.
Yeah.
I think some of them are content to just be offensive.
And it works quite a lot of the time. So follow me back, if you will, to 2007. This collective gets going, but there's really nothing to show for it until 2008. Casey Veggies and Tyler collaborate on a mixtape called Customize Greatly Volume 1. That's not Odd Future. That's just a separate thing that they did.
Who was Casey Veggies? They know, and I'm with all the kids, what like Play-Doh. Ha. Nigga, I can't stop, won't stop. They told me, yo, you hot, don't stop. And then another...
It's okay. It's pretty damn lo-fi for 2008.
Something they made on a MacBook.
Yeah. But then a few months later, we get the Odd Future tape, which is a mixtape. Could you explain to our listeners at home what the difference is between a mixtape, an EP, and an album?
I'll start with the two we've already discussed on the show. If you're a regular listener, EP, extended play. For some reason that means shorter. It's essentially a single with some extra tracks. Then you got an album that is a full album. Y'all know what an album is. Why am I bothering? It's got a bunch more songs than an EP. Then you have a mixtape, which is something, I guess, that an artist puts out that's somewhere between a demo and an album. The tracks can be as produced as the artist feels like releasing at the time, but you get the impression it's a personal statement from an artist, just meant to kind of advertise the brand.
They serve practical purposes as well, especially in terms of exposure.
Sure.
Where you don't need to put together a whole album and get on your traditional album tour. Now, a mixtape is something you could put out every week if you wanted to, or
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to be with any regularity. It's usually much lower production value, and that's kind of understood going into it.
And I would characterize them as having a lot of tracks. While they can be short, they generally are 15, 20 tracks. Maybe not full tracks, maybe they're all little snippets.
Do you think that that's kind of the way music is going? Because if we look at this time period, 2007, you will start to see some artists moving away from full-length albums into EPs. And then it feels like the next step, once you get into the 2010s and teens, you're moving away from EPs, that's too established, down to these mixtapes.
Right. I mean, I think that, like, as an indie artist releasing music, what I put out is generally probably more realistically described as a mixtape. I think it's more similar to a mixtape culturally than an album. Nobody gave me seed money to go to a studio and record an album. I set up some microphones and recorded myself singing my songs and put it all together myself. Yeah, I think music is heading that way for indie artists, and that line is becoming, more and more blurred all the time.
So the Odd Future tape, you and I are in agreement that we both think that this is pretty solid. It seems cohesive in a way that a lot of these solo and collective acts are not. It feels very much born out of Tyler's vision of what music should be.
With a little bit of eclecticism, there's some jazz. There's some more like horrorcore rap, sort of like punk-based rap.
Right.
About that grown dog, you feel me? Too many girls, but hey, it wouldn't kill me. You gotta feel me, they can't even conceal me. Can't hide me, can't keep me at the bottom. I stay cool from the top to the bottom. I'm about the green and I forgot to eat the bottoms. We fast to full throttle.
I haven't looked into this, but I assume it's all being made on like laptops.
It appears that most of it was done like in a home quote studio,
Right. One microphone, probably Fruity Loops at the time, like cheap music software. Probably not even real instruments, probably all virtual instruments if I had to guess. By a handful of guys on a couple of machines. Because it all has, if you listen, like the synths are basically the same.
Right.
It's a lot of synth bass that just kind of goes a lot of the same sort of not piano, electric piano sound.
Yeah.
In a good way. I think that it sounds great. I think it's a unique sound that they all have continued to use. Even sort of more out there members like Frank Ocean, you can still hear some of those sounds in Frank Ocean's music, Earl Sweatshirt's music, Tyler the Creator's music especially. They still use some of those tones. I think that there's definitely a lot of thought put into it. I think even more than some like punk rock sort of, arounds. Like you can hear a lot of effort whether or not you like it.
You mentioned punk rock, and I see a lot of similarities between Odd Future's stylings and punk rock. the do-it-yourself sort of nature to it, the abrasive nature to it, the incitement of violence in the crowds of people who go to see it.
Also, just the like insular sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there's I guess this is getting ahead of ourselves, but Tyler's homophobia on that tape, I'm hearing it in retrospect. I don't hear it with fresh eyes in 2008, but he continues to do the homophobic jokes up until Cherry Bomb. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Up until Cherry Bomb, in a way that by Cherry Bomb, it's like you can hear him going, all right, ladies and gentlemen, there's other jokes like that they have like a set of jokes that they all are going to do that feels very punk rock to me, like they have characters that they're doing. It's like wrestling.
Right. That's a good way of putting it. I would say with the caveat that some of the personalities are distinct enough in that way. Others, I don't think are very much.
I think Earl is. I think Mike
Frank,
G is at least talented
Mike
enough
G,
to
I
jump
think,
out.
is probably the best like straight up rapper out of the group.
Right, you can tell that this is somebody who understands breath and understands rhythm, maybe more than Haji or some of the more generic guys. Tyler, obviously, he has a voice. You hear Tyler's voice, and that's Tyler. Unmistakable.
So as of 2008, you have like 4 or 5 members in Odd Future. It varies depending on who you ask. By the end of the year, Brandon Deshay also joins, and over the course of the next 2 years, this is where you get Earl Sweatshirt, Domogenesis, Mike G, Frank Ocean, Knockout Smith, and such, right? In 2009, Tyler, the Creator, puts out his debut mixtape entitled Bastard, and Haji puts out his debut mixtape, The Denna Tape. 2010, pretty much everyone else in the collective is going to follow suit and put out their first mixtapes. Earl Sweatshirt's Earl comes out in 2010. Haji and Left Brain collaborate to form a group, Mellow Hype, which I would say is probably one of the more successful ventures to come out of Odd Future. With their debut mixtape, Yellow White, they then follow that up the same year with their debut full-length album, Blackened White, as in blackened catfish.
I love Blackened Catfish.
This my composition. Hexacon, I transform Decepticon, Rasputin, I'm half mutant.
So that's about when I got into Odd Future. That's, I think, when I became aware, 2010. Like I said, I liked the Earl tape. I did. I went back and listened to Bastard at some point. There's stuff on Bastard I like. I think it's flawed. I don't know that Tyler was necessarily ready to be an album artist. There's some really mature writing for someone who is at this point mostly known for fairly, inflammatory language and...
We can't beat around the bush here, and we won't. There's a lot of homophobic and misogynist language in these lyrics.
Absolutely. Right. And, at that point, I'm not going to pretend I was so woke as a, high school kid that was what bothered me. But I definitely think I at least saw it as a crutch. I didn't think it was cool. I just was kind of like, okay, all right, yep, and one more of those. It was kind of like, what am I listening to? Why would I want to listen to this? But then you get something like Radicals, which, first of all, was one of my favorite lyrics of all time. I think it's so funny. It's so obviously, referring to the idea that we're doing offensive music. We're, inciting your kids to we're like...
It's the suburbs' worst nightmare.
Random disclaimer. Hey, don't do anything that I say in this song, okay? It's fucking fiction. If anything happens, don't fucking blame me, white America. Fuck Bill O'Reilly. 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're Black Sabbath telling you to kill yourself. Like, we're doing that, but we're doing it bigger and louder and dumber.
Yeah, there's fire.
There's fire. You should also hate school. It's also School's Out, back to Alice Cooper. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's firmly planting itself in a tradition in a way that I think more artists should do.
Domogenesis puts out his debut mixtape in August entitled Rolling Papers, and Mike G does the same with his mixtape, Ali. The Radical mixtape comes out in late 2010, and this is what really builds Odd Future's sense of popularity.
Snorting coke pattern, Miss Fiddle hit Mick Jagger. Me and Jasper bring it past, beat midgets up with ladders, nigga. Don't give a fuck, that's that Wolfgang swagger. Don't give a shit, so I dick fuck bladders in your ear. Radical shows that Wolfgang's radder with a staggering pack of cocaine and a sack of my dick with a lips of your team.
People now know of this group. They have more accessibility to Odd Future's music, but also the group's getting out and playing more. And not just in these United States, Joey. They're going a hop, skip, and a jump across the pond to London, England.
Cheerio.
Where they play on November 5th, and then 3 days later, they do the same in New York City. Yeehaw!
Hot damn.
Call the police and
And
the
the fireman.
fireman. In 2011, we get more mixtapes. Frank Ocean's debut, Nostalgia Ultra, comes out on February 16th, 2 days after Valentine's Day.
Times, yeah. I've loved our good times, yeah.
And Tyler, that May, puts out his debut full-length record, Goblin. Who would win in a fight, a goblin or a troll?
What's the difference?
Hey, taking him down. Well, now Odd Future has some more bona fides. Pretty much everyone who's involved has a recording. Some have full-length records now. And in April, they signed to Sony Music to start Odd Future Records. And the interesting thing about this is that they reserve the right to maintain all creative control on every project that Odd Future Records works on.
Good for them.
Big power coming from Sony.
It is. But you think about it, like, up until this point, they haven't had a record deal. These are fully realized projects. Everything since the Odd Future mixtape, anyway, was charting. Why not let them go? They're able to make this stuff on their own. They don't need a recording studio to do it. Whatever. Promote their music, make a little money off of them.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a lot of the success of horror movies, how a lot of horror movies don't cost very much money to make, but when you have one that hits like a Paranormal Activity, the financial repercussions are massive. So I think that's what Sony's kind of doing here. They figure that these guys don't require much attention or much funding. They are really good at promoting themselves through the internet and through simply word of mouth with how outrageous their shows are.
And if you don't get huge, kickback based on just, signing them, what's the worst that could happen? They've already said everything they could possibly say. They're already just about the most offensive group on the planet. So if you can get away with signing them, what's the big deal?
They embark on the Gulf Wang Tour 2011.
Can I say that still makes me laugh?
Golf Wang.
Get it? Because they're
It's Wolfgang. Yeah.
which is in the middle of their silly name.
And this is a 27-stop tour, which included the Union Transfer in Philadelphia.
That's a fairly established mid-sized venue.
Following the tour, Odd Future puts out the 12 Odd Future Songs compilation, which has 13 tracks.
God bless them. They're funny.
And they announce this compilation record, which we don't talk about. We don't talk about mixtapes. We don't talk about comp albums. We don't talk about live albums. They announce this on Tyler's Twitter, where he just posts the iTunes link to it, and that's it.
Pretty cool.
And the Internet is on board.
They
The
like
musical
it.
group, the Internet. Very popular with the teens.
One of their members has a song on the charts this very week. Steve Lacy, Bad Habits.
Wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. What you do? Made a move, could've made a move. If I knew, I'd be with you. It's too late to pursue. I bite my tongue, it's a bad habit.
Steve Lacy hits number 1 on the Emerging Artists chart. The following year, in 2012, Odd Future goes into a music studio in Los Angeles for 2 weeks.
And it shows.
While they're pretty much still in the studio, put out a song entitled Forest Green.
To the future, how we know what's next. Seeing all of these steps that he's taking, you mistaken if they say we ain't so complex. Trying to be in the blue coupe, you can't pronounce the name with a bad yellow bitch, and she's singing Purple Rain, so insane. And people talking down on me, I don't really think they should. They said they could do it better, I don't really think they could. I ain't one for niggas' wishes, but I wish a nigga would. Ain't as easy as it looks, I just make it look good. Yeah, they talking down.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's one of my 3 notable tracks from this record. They put out the single Forest Green while they're still in the studio. And pretty much nothing happens for a year. They went to the studio for 2 weeks and nothing's there. Tyler is interviewed by The Guardian about what's going on with this record that they made by this point, but haven't released yet. And Tyler says, quote, "I don't know. I have my doubts. Everybody's going on it, and I just think, fuck. Everybody might hate this shit. Everybody might go, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
We wanted this. We wanted that. There we go. We made an entire album that we wanted to make. If everybody hates it, okay. We have an album we like."
Doesn't sound like he likes it very much.
Yeah, he doesn't express a lot of faith.
That was
in this group.
essentially a negative review, in my opinion.
The record comes out on March 20th. It is called the OF Tape Volume 2. And this is a full-ass length album.
Oh, boy.
18 tracks.
Hour and 20 almost?
Yeah.
It was long. Boy, was it long. This was a chore.
The song P has lyrics about Jerry Sandusky, the now disgraced football coach of
The
Penn's-
then disgraced.
Well, yeah.
football coach.
along with Casey Anthony.
Casey Veggies.
No. Tyler said of his performance on P that his performance is, quote, retarded as the sound of deaf people arguing. Oh, boy. No, this was 2012.
Uh-huh.
Where you could say things like that.
I think I was still saying things
And
like
not
that.
being taken down by the goddamn liberals.
Yes.
Yeah, Slay Queen.
I hate liberals.
In this house, hate has no home.
Except for liberals.
And
Can I have a cookie?
Liberace.
Can you pass me one of them chocolate chippies?
Yeah. If you were a liberal, which liberal would you be?
Hillary Clinton.
45.
That's your answer?
Yeah.
You'd be 45? Mm-hmm. He's a liberal. Come on, get real.
Come on now. He's so cute.
That guy loves Democrats.
That guy is cute. I mean, hello, prom king.
I find him scary looking. I've heard people say like young
Scary-
Donald Trump was cute, but I think he was scary looking.
Scary looking like a troll or like a goblin?
Like a goblin.
Coincidence?
It's a weird one.
The track White is a Frank Ocean solo song. It's just like electric piano and him singing. I think it's really nice.
Really good.
He's got a heck of a voice.
I dreamt of sound. I dreamt of gravity keeping us around. I slept in the darkness, it was lonely and it was silent. And What is this love? I don't feel the same. Don't believe what this is could be given a name. I woke you were there, tracing planets on my forehead. But
Frank Ocean will essentially plagiarize himself. He takes the song White and then uses it for the much more fleshed out version of the song, which features a lot of the same chords and lyrics on his own record entitled Channel Orange. The album opens with the track High, which is just, I guess, a diss track? It's just a list of all the physical issues that every member of the group has.
It's mostly every member of the group, and then they're described as ugly and gay.
And fat.
Some of them are fat.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all niggas a little motherfucking story real quick. Once upon a time, there's this group of dusty ass motherfuckers created a little group for themselves. They call themselves Our Future. These little niggas made a motherfucking tape, Our Future Tape Volume 2. You know, that ugly ass nigga Tyler with his bitch ass. I should fuck that nigga up when I see him. Nappy ass hair. Left brain. That nigga ugly as fuck. Big ass nose. Sig gay ass. Putting her clit on other bitches' nipples and shit, whatnot. Matt big ass.
I think it does a good job of setting up the record, frankly.
Yeah, it kind of
tells you what you're in for.
Sure.
But the first time I listened to it, like I said, it didn't really register. It was kind of like, okay, fine. The second time I listened to it, it really did make me laugh. I thought it was very funny. In a very 2012, idiot way.
The concluding track on the record is entitled Oldie, and it's Earl Sweatshirt's first performance in over a year. He also does not get credit for his work on this song.
No.
He's just completely omitted.
Bizarre.
So Earl Sweatshirt returned from, he was away in Samoa at boarding school, and he returns to do a little snippet on this record and also to perform with Odd Future at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City for the release show.
So early in the record, you hear someone say Free Earl. I think it comes up a couple of times. The reason they're saying Free Earl is, I mentioned earlier, I like that Earl Sweatshirt mixtape. That's a controversial statement because that Earl Sweatshirt mixtape has multiple references to things like date rape. It's a really just blue, negative, dark album. And his mom heard it. And she saw the music video we were talking about.
She got scared and she said, "You're moving to Samoa."
Yeah, she was like, "Are you okay, buddy?" And he was like, "I'm great. I'm famous." And she was like, "I don't know that you are." And so because of all of the, references to sexual assault, she had him sent to a boarding school in Samoa where he would do charity work with sexual assault victims so that he would get some real world experience and realize why it's not funny to joke about raping girls. So the Free Earl stuff, in retrospect, and even at the time, always struck me as a little bit, I don't know, just f***ed up. Like, he seems like he's there for good reasons. I think there's a reason he doesn't hang out with those guys anymore, frankly.
Bad influences.
They were bad influences. They didn't support him. They didn't get where he was coming from. They had their own idea of what supporting him meant.
So Tyler directs 3 of the 4 music videos for the singles off of this. He directs music videos for Sam is Dead, Rella, NY, Ned Flander. They're all disturbing. It just feels like he kind of dropped acid and then recorded. So the last single for the record is for the last track, Oldie, which is directed by Lance Bangs. Do you know Lance Bangs?
Of course I know Lance Bangs. He's the director of the Goo Cruise music video by Howard Kramer. He did Jackass, most famously. He made some movies, but he did Jackass.
Right. He also directed music videos for a lot of indie rock stars, from Sonic Youth to REM, but also bigger acts such as Kanye West and George Harrison. The OF Tape Volume 2 will hit number 5 on the Billboard 200. Completely inconceivable to me. My yummy yummy song is You Know, featuring The Internet. I like the song best because it sounds like nothing else on the record.
To me, it sounds like a totally throwaway album cut by Nerd.
Could be. I would still probably take most throwaway cuts by Nerd over just about anything else on this.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. My yummy yummy song is Analog 2. I think what I liked about it is, like, throughout the whole tape, there's little elements I like from the various members. There's always something about it where either the song just kind of turns into a drone of something obnoxious, or it's just too obnoxious to even like in the first place. But that song keeps changing in a way that I think, like, if I was ever to want to put on a song to remember what Odd Future sounds like as a group, that song to me is like that.
Are you and your girls can roll.
If you meet me by the lake at the park and you roll. If you meet me by the lake at the park and you roll. If you meet me by the pier, bring the pier, we can menage. Ooh, your girlfriend Nikki got the back, I like to massage.
That's what they sound like as a group.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you put them all together.
And it's a good version of that.
Sure, it's, yeah, a lot of times what they sound like as a group is one repeated beat with one repeated synth line with every one of them saying the most annoying thing they can think of.
Like my Yuck Icky song, Real Bitch, which features Mellow Hype and Taco. It has some pretty deplorable out-of-key singing, and it's just a list of descriptions of things that a real bitch would do. It's mean, deeply misogynistic.
Yep.
Very get back to the kitchen sort of vibes. I hate it.
Where my bitches at? Where my bitches at? Yeah, man, a real bitch, she come home, cook a nice little meal for a nigga, you know what I'm saying? A real bitch don't motherfucking run her mouth and shit. You know what I mean? Real bitches wash the dishes. You know what I mean? Real bitches help out and pay the bills and shit. You know what I'm saying? Give a nigga
My Yuck Icky song is 50, and I don't remember why I picked that.
It's abrasive.
Sure.
It is.
Is it Mellow Hype?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is just out the gate, super fast and obnoxious.
Yeah, it's a lot of distorted microphones.
Like if someone were scratching a chalkboard with gusto.
Hostility fertile, like my mule in 40 acres and my Stacy Adam Gators. Where's that motherfucking stapler? Good grades on the wall. Niggas hate to see me do it major. I'm just the leader on my team and I ain't afraid to trade them. Lacing my shoes, we the Mellow Hype Jews. We controlling the cruise, drinking Belgian milk booze. We're animals.
I don't generally hate what I'm listening to when I'm listening to Odd Future, unless it's Mellow Hype, and then I just hate it. I think it's just hot garbage. I hate it so much.
Each episode, we like to highlight the up-and-coming work of a discography-developing diva. Today, that is Sunchoke. Sunchoke is what you get when you cross an artichoke with the sun. They're a power pop trio from Philadelphia, combining tastes of indie, punk, jazz, and math rock. And they may be coming to a city near you this weekend, providing you live in the American Northeast. It is now time to chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a gosh darn door with Sunchoke and their song Slobs.
It's bright, it's early, the night is blurry, guilty, let things slip. Gotta find something to do to take my mind off it. The sun is beating down. I step out, blow a smoke cloud. A haze is good for now. I'm switching up my way down. It's fine, I handle my shit when I'm taking sips, but I'm throwing them back. It might be too much to take, cause wasting a day just ain't what it used to be. I don't think I got it in me to act like normal if you talk to me. The weekend is over and I've gone and made myself sick in the head again.
can hear more from Sunchoke. Contact us to submit your own music for consideration, view our citations, listen to a playlist of our favorite Odd Future songs, and support Deep Dive Divas by following the links in this episode's show notes. So Odd Future, in addition to putting out music in 2012, also gets an Adult Swim television show on the Cartoon Network entitled Loiter Squad.
When storage lockers are abandoned, the treasures inside are put up for auction.
I just have a great feeling about today. I hope to see if there's some Hot Wheels, some ketchup.
What are you hoping's in there? Gold?
Shut up. Just let me finish what I'm saying before you start. Because it's frustrating.
Okay, Dick.
It makes me feel unheard.
Okay.
I hope there's some gold.
Which I remember liking, but I don't remember why. It might have been I was smoking a lot of weed at the time.
It's like a sketch show sort of thing, not unlike like a Tim and Eric or Jackass
Somewhere
or whatever.
between.
Yeah. While there are 8 billion members of Odd Future, the majority of Loiter Squad centers around Tyler the Creator, Jasper, Taco, Earl Sweatshirt, and Lionel. This year, Frank Ocean also puts out his debut full-length album, Channel Orange, on July 10th, which racks up 6 Grammy nominations. Domogenesis puts out his No Idols mixtape. Mellow Hype puts out Numbers, which is a full-length album. And the inaugural Camp Flognaw, which is also an anagram of Wolfgang, Carnival, is held, and this will run, I believe, till this day. In 2013, Tyler puts out his next full-length record, Wolf. Boy loves wolves.
It sucks, if I may say.
You may think so. It debuts at number 3 on the Billboard 200. Earl Sweatshirt puts out his debut studio album, and Tyler and Earl go on tour together for the Earl Wolf Summer Tour.
I bet that was fun, huh?
Sure. It's also, that must be a reference to the podcast conglomerate Earwolf, right?
Oh, I never thought of that.
2014, Frank Ocean leaves Odd Future's management company, Four Strikes. And this is signaling a lot of the dissolution that is to come. Loiter Squad does put out their 3rd season in May of 2014. And Odd Future is slated to open for Eminem at Wembley Stadium, which is the big one in England, on August 11th and 12th, because Kendrick Lamar couldn't make it. An anti-violence group protests them, citing that the group encouraged violence at their shows as well as in their lyrics, which promote rape and violence towards women and kind of all of humanity.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And as a result, some members lose their visas over the acts that they were accused for, but they will play with the folks who are able to make it to Wembley. In 2015, Haji announces that Mellow Hype is coming to an end, that they're done.
Womp.
At the 4th annual Camp Flognaw Carnival, when the poster is put out, one of those posters that have like 8 billion names on it, OFWGKTA is listed as an act that is playing. Again, Odd Future Wolfgang, kill them all.
Encouraging violence once again.
It's
against all of humanity.
It doesn't say kill them some. This isn't really the Odd Future that you were probably expecting if you went to this. You have Haji, Domogenesis, Mike G, Tyler and Earl Sweatshirt are not present, even though it's Tyler's festival. Tyler, the Creator, is supposed to go back to the UK and play, but he is banned for 3 to 5 years for his homophobic and violent lyrics. This actually gets lifted in 2019, so he made it.
Because he came out as gay.
So in 2019, he is permitted to go back to play the show in the UK. However, the show is then canceled by police who are present at the show and say that the crowd is too rowdy and too plentiful. And it appears that that's kind of it. Everyone's like, oh, and goes home. Like, there doesn't appear to be any violence or anything. It's just kind of,
At this point, they're all like 24. They're really going to riot about Tyler the Creator not getting to play his silly little songs.
Okay. So in 2016, Haji puts out Fireplace, the Not the Other Side, his debut full-length album, and Odd Future Records' last release. So in 2016, they will stop releasing La Música. A couple years later, in 2018, Tyler puts out a new album, including the song Okra, which contains the lyrics, Golf, which is his clothing line, Be the Set, No More OF. A few months later, Taco posts videos of OF playing a show in LA, including Tyler, the Creator. Also in 2018, Tyler, the Creator, scores the motion picture The Grinch, starring, what's that guy? Bumbersnatch Cumberbund?
You're a mean one. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel. Mr. Grinch, you're a bad banana.
2019, Mike G tells Revolt, which is a pretty big hip-hop news and entertainment website, that OF hasn't broken up, but they're not going to tour anymore or play shows. 2020, Tyler tells that same magazine that it is over. He says, quote, I don't know if the styles would mesh much with everyone, but who knows? This could change in 6 weeks. Well, it is now 2022, 2 years later, and
still nothing. You know, he's got his cooking show. He's doing sort of like funk infused R&B. Frank Ocean hasn't had a release now in 5 years or something. He seems to be just hanging out, doing his own thing. Earl Sweatshirt doesn't really even use those guys on his records anymore. He doesn't rap with any of them. Left Brain doesn't seem to be working anymore. He seems to have pretty much gone all the way. I mean, he's putting out records, but not with anybody of note. The internet's doing really good.
They're doing great.
They're on the charts.
We should have just done the internet.